I told myself I was just being kind. That's how I turned a favor into a 5-second clip that ended my relationship. I'm Lila, 27, a pediatric dental assistant in Phoenix who romanticizes everything from sunsets to spreadsheets. My boyfriend. Now, ex. Ethan is 30, a night shift respiratory therapist who believes in labeled bins, early oil changes, and the kind of calm you can build a life on. We split rent on a bright one-bedroom with a tiny balcony and an indoor camera aimed at the entry, his idea after a package got stolen. I agreed, because safety felt grown. Friday started with a text from my ex, Marco. Got stuck between couches, please, I need one night. I'll be out by noon. Translation, his roommate kicked him out. He had nowhere to go. He picked me because I pack a soft heart and a soft skull. Ethan was on a 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
shift.
I asked if Marco could crash on the couch. Just one night, he's a mess. Ethan replied 3 blue dots and then, your call. I trust you. I'll be home around 7:30 a.m. Please make sure he's gone before then. Of course, I said, too quickly, like a person who's never met her own weakness. Marco arrived with a duffel bag and a laundry basket of bad decisions. He's that handsome you can spot from an altitude. Tattoos that look like stories, cologne that says, I am a lesson. He thanked me with the wounded charm that used to dismantle me on contact. I told myself I was immune. Ethan and I were solid. This was compassion with boundaries. We ordered takeout. We watched a dumb movie. At 11:30, he asked for a blanket. I handed him the blue one Ethan's mom crocheted, then snatched it back and gave him the ugly fleece because apparently my line is in-laws blankets. At midnight, I was halfway down the hall when Marco said, Lee, can we talk? He wanted to reminisce about why we didn't work. The breakups, the makeup texts, the time he showed up at my job with sunflowers and said he'd do better and then didn't. Memory is venom. Nostalgia is the sugar it hides in. I'm with someone, I said, standing in the doorway in an old tank top and shorts, arms crossed like that could hug my judgment. I know, he said, looking at my mouth. He's lucky. I should have gone to bed. Instead, I sat on the arm of the couch, and we took this soft, stupid, tiny step toward a cliff. We didn't have sex. We kissed.
Twice.
The second kiss landed and exploded into that old chemical where your body forgets what year it is. I pulled away first. No, I said, which would have been noble 10 seconds earlier. This was a mistake. He nodded, earnest and doomed. I'll sleep. I went to bed nauseous with guilt. I stared at the ceiling fan and tried to spin the night into a lesser sin. Somewhere around 2 a.m., I forgot about the camera. Ethan did not. At 2:07 a.m., motion detected. The indoor cam sent a push. Person detected. Entry. On nights when kitten fosters roamed or the Roomba bumped the tripod, he'd laugh and swipe it away. That night, in a hospital break room that smells like burnt coffee and Lysol, he tapped. The clip is 5 seconds long. Me in my tank top, Marco on the couch, my hand in his hair, a kiss that says we knew better and did it anyway. The timestamp glows like a verdict. Ethan watched it once.
Twice.
He didn't text. He didn't blow up my phone while I slept 2 doors away from the mess I made. He finished his Vents rounds, charted without a misspelling, and drove home in the gray that comes before sun. I woke at 7:20 to cabinet sounds and the specific silence of someone deciding how to end a chapter. Ethan was in scrubs, hair still flattened by a mask, eyes clear in a way that meant this was going to hurt. He set his keys on the counter next to a neat stack, my spare gym fob, the garage opener, the ugly fleece, folded. Marco has to go now, he said.
Calm.
Not kind, not cruel.
Just done.
Marco came out of the bathroom blinking. I'll get my stuff. Ethan nodded at the door. I'll wait. You know the most humiliating part? Not getting caught. It was watching 2 men who both cared about me in their own broken ways do something I should have done for myself. End it clean. Marco left without theatrics. Grabbed his basket, said, my bad, vanished. Ethan locked the door, turned to me, and took off the badge that jingles like a bell when he walks. Lila, he said, and then nothing, like my name was a comma, where a sentence used to be. I messed up, I blurted. I was stupid, it was just a kiss. He raised a hand. I don't need the adverbs. He breathed in through his nose like a man who's practiced not exploding. I watched it happen on my phone at 2:07 a.m. at work while a kid struggled to breathe. I decided then that I won't argue about oxygen in my own house. He could have yelled. He didn't. He pointed to a printed sheet on the counter. Our bills and who pays what, dates to transfer, the deposit we'd split, a note that said, you keep the couch. I stared at that sentence until it clicked. He wasn't being generous. He just didn't want to sit where I'd kiss someone else. He packed a go bag with precision and left to sleep at his brother's. I stood in our kitchen holding an apology that sounded more like a resume, empathetic, remorseful, available for a second chance. The door didn't slam. It took the soft breath of the weather stripping and clicked like a safe closing. I tried to fix it the way I fix everything. Long texts, ugly crying, an email with a subject, please read. Ethan's reply was one line. I saw what I needed to see.
He muted me.
Boundaries in 2026 don't come with shouty voicemails. They come with deliver silently. By noon, my phone buzzed for all the wrong reasons. Our friend Kayla sent a "you okay?" with a screenshot she didn't want to send. Marco had posted a close friend story. Green ring, whiskey glass, a blurred version of me in frame. He added a white text caption that said, old habits, with a fire emoji, because of course he did. Kayla had recorded the clip and wrote, I told him to delete. He blocked me. I begged Marco to take it down. He wrote, relax. No one knows your face. I knew better. People know angles like they know gossip. I could feel the rumor sprouting. Ethan's girl had her ex over while he worked nights. I did the only right thing I could think of. I texted 5 people who mattered. The ones who would keep either of us safe from the softer violence of speculation. I betrayed Ethan. It was a kiss. He ended it. Please give him space. Do not repeat this. If I gave the truth oxygen, maybe the lie would suffocate. Ethan didn't blast me. He didn't reply with a screenshot of the kiss to a group chat. He didn't dump my clothes on the lawn or post a revenge playlist. He forwarded the camera clip to my phone with the subject line, for your records, and then blocked me. I saved it in a folder titled Consequences. When I'm tempted to soften the edges of what I did, I watch 5 seconds and remember that rationalizations don't change pixels. Moving out with small griefs, scrubbing toothpaste specks from a mirror I would never use again, unhooking the hanging plant he'd rescued from a clearance rack, labeling a box, mugs that feel like mourning. He stopped by when I wasn't there to take his air fryer, his labeled bins, his patience. He left me the balcony lights because he knows I like the way they make cheap wine taste better. People ask for my side. Here's the side. I had one job. Honor the man who trusted me. I failed. Not catastrophically, not violently, not for months. But integrity isn't measured by duration. It's measured by whether you're someone your partner could walk away from for 12 hours and the home would still be a home. I tried to date. The men were not monsters. They were busy or loud or already tired of trying. I sat across from one who said, I don't do labels, and thought of Ethan's bins. I went on second dates with men who romanticized chaos because I thought chaos meant passion. It turns out passion can also look like a man resetting the Wi-Fi at midnight because he knows your show will buffer at the cliffhanger. 6 months later, I ran into Ethan on the sidewalk outside Fry's. He had a new watch and the relaxed eyes of a person whose sleep isn't patrolled by dread. A woman met him at the door. Brown skin, scrubs, hair in a bun. Handing him a bag like they'd learned each other's rhythms. We nodded. I didn't chase him into the parking lot with an epiphany. Growth sometimes is keeping your mouth shut and your feet still. 3 years later, a photo found me I didn't go looking for. Ethan on South Mountain with a toddler in a sun hat on his shoulders. I didn't cry because he'd moved on. I cried because he'd gotten what he always deserved, a life that doesn't require surveillance to be safe. There's no legal twist here. No judge, no settlement, no statute. Just a quiet camera, a quiet man, and the loudest 5 seconds I've ever lived. If you're me, if you're about to extend just one night to someone who only ever took, lock your door with love for the person who trusts you. Put the ugly fleece on a chair they won't sit in. Turn off the nostalgia. Put your phone face down and your pride down lower. There is kindness that preserves your home and kindness that burns it down while you're humming along. Ethan once told me, after a shift, that the body is always telling the truth if you know what to listen for. So is a life. Mine said boundary, and I pretended it said story. His said enough, and he listened. My remarks. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Well, she called it just a favor and treated a boundary like a suggestion. The indoor cam didn't care about context. It caught 5 seconds that told the whole truth. He didn't yell, post, or perform. He set terms, packed a bag, and left. That's the lesson. You don't need a courtroom when you have standards and receipts. If you're into grounded endings where choices, not chaos, decide the outcome, subscribe. More tomorrow.